I am excited for this, but I'm gonna say words that are weird in this video. We're talking under eyes today, and with the under eyes comes drama, right? Like, how the heck do we get our oh my gosh, our under eyes looking top notch? Because they're a pain in our butts. So I'm gonna walk you through some key tips for you with those under eyes that's gonna change your makeup game. All right, I removed my demi foundation under my eyes that was concealing all of this stuff. Now, under eye is a pain in the butt. You can completely alleviate the creasing under your eyes or being super close to it or whatever. Some days you might have a heavier hand than others, let's be real. But that's our goal today. So today I'm gonna bring to you key tips for your eyes to help with creasing. The biggest key tip is using demi foundation only, which is on my face, but the reason why is you will have zero creasing with demi because you are only putting a color across from the color wheel onto that key point instead of taking a whole foundation and bringing it under the whole entire eye. So that is option number one, the demi foundation. I can color match you to demi. We are mostly gonna focus in the orange type families, orange yellow families for under eyes, maybe a little bit of reds because some people might pull green. A couple people might have yellow, so we need to go in a little bit of purples, but it's pretty dang basic across the board. So with demi, I actually have a video that you can watch with that. So I'm not gonna introduce any more of that, but you truly are just putting it in key places. That's gonna brighten your face, under eyes, and make it look amazing. But today we're gonna talk about foundations because your foundation is what's gonna set the stage, okay? So this is a cream foundation from Seint. It is my favorite. I have used all other foundations too. Not all, that's silly to say, but a lot of foundations that are liquid. Powder has never been my friend. There's too many wrinkles for that. And if you are using powder under your under eyes and you're like, I do not like this, it's because it makes you look drab. It makes you look dead and it makes your skin look matte and boring. That was rude. That sounded rude. Boring as in flat. Boring's too strong of a word. Boring as in there's no life to the under eyes, which we for sure need, okay? You're not boring, but your skin might look what you feel is boring. Okay, we are going to take our foundation, and this here, I have a color correcting foundation. I call this a main foundation. It's just the color of my pigmentation. And then I have a brightener, AKA concealer, but all it is this is my main foundation, a couple shades darker. This is my main foundations, a couple shades lighter. That's all that it is. So I'm gonna look at my face and I'm gonna say, okay, where are these points that actually need addressed? And most of the time though, we go in and we hit places like this. We take a bigger brush and we come in with a color corrector and we just like paint it like this. That's not solving your problem because I don't know if you noticed, but let's zoom in here tight, Mitch. I have one spot here, one spot here that's stronger, one spot here that's stronger, and then one area here. If I were to take a dark color across my whole under eye, the pigmentation in that color is gonna make this not look right. It's gonna make it pull like orangey or something. So the goal is to stop doing what normal concealers do. And when you go to light in color to color correct, it actually doesn't cover it either unless you put a crap ton of makeup on. So we don't want that. We're gonna take a little bit darker of a color and we are just going to hit it up with that darker color for our under eyes to color correct any pigments that are darker. And this means that they're a couple shades darker and not just barely darker. We need a couple shades darker and we're gonna just hit up with a light hand in those areas. And we'll zoom in tight on this part so that you can see I'm truly just focusing on those set key areas. Okay, So now when I put my foundation on, I'm gonna take that bigger brush, I'm gonna barely press. I just wanna show this. So I could either sweep this on and be heavy or just do a soft press. And I'm gonna use the word like a butterfly. You wanna barely press, like if you were touching the wings to a butterfly and you don't wanna scare it, and you just do this super, super soft press, it's gonna have that soft press. You're gonna go to the place that you really wanna cover, and you're just going to start pressing, because this is gonna, you see now that it actually, that one tiny press really did hit up areas. So now I can press, I can do more of a pounce because I already got it in the places I needed it. And now I'm just melting all of it together. But did you notice how I never came up under my eye and went like this? I just came to here and found the places I needed to hit first. And then I went to town stippling. So I don't have much focus from crease up, because from crease up, you're gonna get more creasing in your makeup. So I have hardly any makeup in that crease. If that's where my crease is the darkest, I would take my color corrector and barely apply any makeup to that area. So now I have my foundation on where I need it, and I took care of all of that. So just soft pounces so I don't agitate what I already color corrected. And now I'm going to have two different options. Option one is take the same brush and take that brightener color, the color that's a couple shades darker than my main foundation, and do one soft press in it as well. And then I'm gonna come to this inner eye. You see that? And then I can take what's ever left on my brush and come to the outer eye. Less is more, less is more. I'm now going to come and just keep pressing that inner part and this outer part, and I'm gonna connect the two. If I have to grab a little bit more, I can, but I'm also never bringing it up under that eye. Now, there's a second option that you could do. You could even throw in the second option with the first option. Is you're gonna take the small end of the brush. This is actually the brush that you can use with the demi foundation. It's found on the demi site or the demi section on the Seint site. You're gonna take this brush, you're going to softly, once again, take just the very tip of that brush and press it in. So I didn't go in all the way like that, because that's way too much. I just took it at the tip and barely got it on the tip of that brush. Now I'm gonna look at the darkest point, which is right by this light skin right here, and I'm just gonna softly, hardly any makeup is on this brush, and I'm gonna put it next to that, and look at that. It just, do you see that? It just fused that out. I'll show you one more time. So I go to that darkest point, one little tap on that darkest point, one little tap on that darkest point, take off the excess off of my brush, and now press and work it in to those darkest points. By doing this, I'm minimizing the chances to get any creasing. I'm not putting makeup where it's not needed. My under eyes look better with less makeup. Can I say this again? Zoom into me close. The under eyes look better with less makeup. The more you cake on to try and fix a problem that you think you have, the more you're going to hate the look. In fact, you can pull the color more drab and gray the more you apply. Color correcting is such an important step. I can't even stress you. Not only that, if you have bluish green under eyes, which means if they look dark, chances are they're blue and green. Like if they just look dark, chances are they're blue and green. You have to go in with a color that's more orange based instead of this tan based to counteract that. That's why the demi foundation comes in so handy too, because you're getting more of that orange base to color correct against the blue and the green. Because across from that color wheel from blue is what? Orange. Okay, that's where those come into play and make it even better. So if you feel you have that, we can address it. And that's how you do under eyes. Video over, bye, see ya. Okay, just kidding. But do you see the difference that makes? I'm not having a strong, like I'm naturally brightened up through all of this with what I just barely did. I have minimal makeup. I want you to zoom in really close, Mitch. And you will see, if you look at my eye, you can't see a ton of makeup in all those little wrinkles. I have tons, to zoom in so tight. I have a ton of wrinkles. And you just can't see the makeup in them in my face because we used such a minimal amount. So I hope this tutorial helped you make your under eyes make a little bit more sense. Now, I am gonna say one little thing. When I color match you to the Seint foundation, you can go to fitmissionmakeup.com. When I match you, I'm gonna mark on your face where I want the color corrector to go. When you see me put little white spots, it needs to be in that area, but here's the thing, I can't draw as perfect as I want depending on the pixelation of the picture. So just know that if it needs to go in that little area, less is more. If I go in with stripes in white, that means you can fill out a whole area. But when I just do white spots, that means we're just doing a little bit in that area and not much is needed. Always make it a point to be so on it for that area and not overdoing it, and you're gonna like it so much more. Lastly, my final thing is if you feel that you need to add a powder, I highly recommend not putting it directly under your eye. My first thing would be, let's not put a ton of moisturizer under the eyes if you're creasing or have a lot of movement naturally on your own or you're oily. Let's get the moisturizer only where it's needed, which might not be under that eye if it's not dry. And then let's do where you're not using a ton of makeup there on top of it and feeling like you need to have a powder because you're gonna get too much movement between the two. And we wanna keep this area glowing and shining as much as possible and not removing that with a powder, making it dull. So I'm gonna put that blush on to finish it out. And we got some awesome sauce right there. All right, Jocelyn McClellan with Fit Mission Makeup on Facebook and on Instagram, jocelyn.mcclellan. I hope you have an incredible day. I hope this under eye video helped you out. I don't care if you wear Seint foundation, any foundation, these tips are solid for your makeup, for under eyes, all the way through. Have a great one. We'll talk to you later. Bye.